I'm back. Road Rants for Black and White Sports. Make sure you hit subscribe for a lot of XFL content. We cover the XFL a lot here. Week 5 power rankings. Good God. This was tough. Okay, I spent a lot of time researching prior to doing this video. And I don't necessarily, and I do this with the NFL too. My NFL top 5 plus 1 or 2 is usually what I do. I don't necessarily look at record always first. What's your quarterback situation? What's your coach situation? How confident am I in that combination going forward? What's your defense like? Has one of the teams that's got a better record ahead of you gotten a big injury that could affect them going forward as well? Okay, and right now the XFL is a really strange league. I enjoy it. This past weekend was fun. I think it was the best weekend since the first weekend. I do. I think it was pretty competitive, and it was fun. We don't know what's going on with a couple of these teams, though. It's strange. It's some Jekyll and Hyde play out there in the XFL right now. So, let's go, and we're going to get this started. And I can tell you, picks number 3 through 8, I've got little confidence in my own power rankings right now, and you might be like, whoa, had a lot of confidence last week, but the situations have been thrown into peril because of injuries. Okay, injuries and just random weirdness. Number 8, the LA Wildcats, and I like the Wildcats. That's what's weird about me. They lost the game, and I almost had them more like at 6, even an argument at 5. Okay, and you might be like, whoa, it's because, to me, there is little separation right now between all these teams and what's going on with these teams. And look, I am more confident. There's 2 things I like about the LA Wildcats. I like Josh Johnson, and I like Winston Justice. I like Norm Chow as the offensive coordinator, okay? What I don't like is they got a horrible home field advantage with 12,000 fans showing up. If they had 28,000 showing up, like St. Louis, I might have LA way up right now, because I think they got arguably the 2nd or 3rd best quarterback in the entire league. Josh Johnson is a capable NFL. Detroit tried to sign him in December, and the XFL blocked him. So, I've got him down there, but I don't feel good about having him down there because I think arguably, look, if Nelson Spruce hadn't been out, the wide receiver, against the Guardians, I think they beat the Guardians. I do. Even though the Guardians looked better, and we'll get to that, I just think they end up winning that game, if you want to know the truth. But I'm going to have them at number 8 with little confidence. Number 7, the Tampa Bay Vipers. Last couple of weeks, the Vipers have been fighting their A's off. I'll give them credit. I'm not the biggest Mark Trestman fan. I hated the way he handled the Quentin Flowers situation. I believe Flowers should be the starting quarterback on that team. I don't care if Cornelius did play better this last weekend. I think this quarterback this league in part is going to thrive on the dual threat quarterback. The quarterback that can keep the league exciting and move and make crazy PJ Walker type plays, Jordan Ta'amu type plays. That's what's going to get people in front of the TV. And that's what this is about. Okay, it's an entertainment product. It's a sport, but it's entertainment, period. That's just the way this works. So I don't love Trestman. I don't. But they showed out, and they showed up a lot better. Cornelius had 211 yards this past weekend. And, they've got, I don't know. I don't love their situation, the Tampa Bay Vipers. But, look, they've got a decent home field. And, again, 3 through 5 this week, 3 through 8 this week was rough. It was rough because there's all kinds of things I had to take into consideration. Number 6, Seattle Dragons. Look, B.J. Daniels come in, and they all of a sudden look like a better team, and they tried to fight like hell against St. Louis. The one thing I do know about Seattle is they're going to have one hell of a home field advantage. 26,000, 28,000, 30,000 fans in Seattle, and that's one reason I have them so high right now. It's because I think if you go into Seattle, now that B.J. Daniels is playing quarterback, I like Jim Zorn, even though he had a sideline interview that was a dumpster fire. They went for 3 when they absolutely didn't need to, and his explanation was all over the place. It was almost like, I don't know what's going on in this game. And I was like, oh no. The coach literally doesn't know what's going on right now. His math didn't work out. Point-wise, it was just frightening. But I like the teaching side of Jim Zorn. I like his personality. Brandon Silver shit the bed for me. He was my preseason pick for MVP. And because he played well in the AAF, and he's washed out. He's washed out. He's flashed, but he's ultimately washed out. Number 5, last week's number 8, New York Guardians. They beat a Wildcats team that technically I think is better than them. Definitely at quarterback, but I like Luis Perez. 2 of his last 3 weeks in the AAF, he killed it. He's a professional quarterback. He will move the ball for the Guardians, which is going to help them. But look, do I think the Guardians will necessarily stay at 5? Probably not. They're probably going to end up dropping back down the list. I don't have any faith in Kevin Gilbride whatsoever. And I almost, look, the Guardians were in play to be down all the way down at 7 this week, even with a win. I don't love their situation going forward. I don't. But Luis Perez, I think, helps their situation. Okay. Number 4. The DC Defenders, even though they got the brakes beat off of them this past weekend by Tampa Bay, what has happened to the DC Defenders, the team that come out and look like Houston and DC the first 2 weeks? No. They're a dumpster fire, and all of a sudden, Cardale Jones can't play quarterback at all. He has looked completely lost. He has not showed up great in sideline interviews. He seems like he's lost faith in Pep Hamilton's play calling, which is crazy because I like Pep Hamilton. I think he's a good play caller. And Cardale's all of a sudden not getting it done. And look, the teams are going to win based on quarterback play in large part. Okay? I have no idea what's going on with DC. The bottom has fallen out, and they were in play. If they didn't have 2 wins, they were in play to be much lower down my list. The league is a little bit all over the place all of a sudden. After week 4, things got much more confusing. It did. Number 3, the Dallas Renegades. They lost a very close competitive game against what I think is the best team in the league. So, I just ruined that. But look, it is what it is. We all know it. My issue with Dallas is the obvious. Landry Jones is hurt. He's out this coming week and the following week. And if Dallas loses both of those games, it wouldn't surprise me a bit. Again, it's about quarterback play. All right? And I have no faith in Philip Nelson. However, I have kept the Dallas Renegades so high because I like their backfield. Lance Dunbar and Cameron Artis-Payne has potential. They got a tight end, Donald Parnham. I should point out, the head of officiating, Dean Blandino, said his touchdown was not a touchdown. So it should have been looked at, and it should have been overruled. So that game looks a lot closer than it really was. He said it shouldn't have been a touchdown. He said it on the broadcast, and I called out the XFL in their comments. when they posted that touchdown on their highlight, because every time there's a score, they put it up on their YouTube. And I said, I don't know that I would have posted this touchdown, considering your head of officiating just said it wasn't a touchdown. I was like, that looks bad. You might have just skipped this one. I've got Dallas there. I've got faith in Bob Stoops. Landry Jones, even when he plays, we're finding out it wasn't the NFL that caused him to throw interceptions. It was Landry Jones that caused him to throw interceptions. He just throws it to the other team. Bad picks, too. I mean, he's making Mark Sanchez look like a ball security master right now. It's frightening. It's frightening. But that's where I have it. You know, at number 3 with little confidence because of Philip Nelson. Going forward, I almost dropped him even lower because of Philip Nelson. Number 2, and look, there is much separation between the rest of the league and 1 and 2. St. Louis Battlehawks, good God, their fans are awesome. 28,000 again, basically, showed up. Jordan Ta'amu continues to be right on the heels of P.J. Walker for the XFL MVP. Kid looks great. Good God, I wish we had 8 quarterbacks just like him in this league. It would be a blast. So if I'm the league going forward, I'm looking at dual threat quarterbacks coming out of college. I am. All 3 phases with St. Louis. Seattle played them tough. They did. I'll give them credit in that setting. Seattle played them tough. But the Battlehawks are a cut above. And number 2, I like all 3 phases of their game: running, passing, special teams, defense. I like the Battlehawks. Number 1, the Houston Roughnecks, my team. You might be like, oh, well, here we go. Look, they're the best team in the league. P.J. Walker, and look, they got a head-to-head victory over St. Louis too. Okay, so I have to take that into account. It doesn't mean everything to me, but I do have to take it into account. P.J. Walker had another 239 yards this past week. I don't love how they're running the ball necessarily. It's not great, but they're tough. They're tough on defense when they need to be. And I think Houston is the best team in the league right now, but there's not as much separation between St. Louis and Houston as I think there was even before last week. I would be very interested to see them play again. Could be steamrolling to a championship game. I don't know, guys. This league I enjoy the XFL. I'm really pulling for it. We're really covering it. But the quarterback play has got to get better. It does. It shows you there is a lack of good quarterbacks, professional quarterbacks out there. It's hard to watch teams continuously go 3 and out. It makes the game stagnant. It makes you feel like you're running in quicksand, like the game's just not going forward, okay? And it can lead to some really non-competitive games. Look, I'm normally come out and I am super confident about power rankings, whether it's NFL, last week doing XFL. This week, lack of confidence. No confidence power rankings. It is what it is. They're between injuries towards Landry Jones getting hurt, threw a monkey into the power rankings for me. Nelson Spruce being out this past week for the LA Wildcats. Look, I think LA, if they mess around and roll off and win 4 out of the next 6, or 5 out of the next 6, or 6 of the next 6, LA could come out of nowhere in this thing. They really could, and make it really interesting. I like Josh Johnson. and Winston Justice. And I think they beat the Guardians this past week if they've got their number 1 wideout. I do. And look, they're number 8 in my rank. They could see a huge jump next week in my power rankings. You know? Because I don't have any... I don't know what DC is all of a sudden. DC's a dumpster fire. We don't for sure know what the Guardians are going to look like going forward. It's nuts. You tell me what you think. Rank them in the comments section. Shit's getting weird in the XFL. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.